don't know if you noticed yet, but the opportunities in the new economy has made it pretty dumb to have a normal job anymore. Man, normal jobs, you can't even get pensions anymore, healthcare you gotta pay for, nothing's secure, nobody's happy, nobody gives you a pat on the back for what you're doing anymore, anything, and everybody's just out for money, and what they could get out of you. Now there's so many new ways to not live like that anymore, and that's because of crowdfunding and crowd sharing and peer-to-peer networks and the shared economy and internet platforms that make something so easy, and that's where we're growing as a nation too. I mean, things like somebody who develops a website, is now, and has like 100 employees, is bigger than Boeing aircraft that has tens of thousands of employees or hundreds of thousands. They have the same market value, but they're less people. So people are getting their own ways of doing this. Now today, we're going to show you 4 new ways to do this. It's anything. Like if you want to be a writer, I'll show you one of the interviews we did to show you how to take any kind of writing you want to do, and really there's internet sites. You don't have to go through normal publishers and all that kind of stuff. There's internet sites where you can get up to $20,000 before you even write the book. But people don't know. Well, here I'll show you another interview of this guy who hated his job and wanted to do something he really wanted to do, and he found how to get $80,000 for the whole year to live on, so he could do what he wanted to do. Cost him nothing up front and things like that. So everything I'm going to talk about is free. Nothing charged. You don't have to go out and hire somebody or spend a lot of money to do all these things and do what you want. You got to use the system. Or here's another neat thing. There's an inventor. A guy had a good idea for actually loading music. And actually right now, I'll show you a website that you could get movies and big video files and things like that downloaded better, faster, cheaper than anything that's going on today. And these are some young guys in their apartment figured this out. It's not done by big companies anymore, and this service is free. It's going to be free forever. So the big guys are going to be gone. But first, I want to show you an interview where it shows you when is the best time to start a project on the internet. There's a day and a time, a special hour that makes it the best time to do it. So watch these and learn, listen, and start doing what you want to do in life. Okay, now here's a fella in an interview that you're going to learn probably the most important secret you'll ever learn about getting free money on the internet. And the secret is Tuesday, 10 a.m. East Coast time. That's right. That's the most important thing to remember. And in the interview, you'll see why. See, because he went out and tried to raise money for a wallet for your iPhone. Okay, and he designed this wallet and things go, and he failed on his bupkis, so he couldn't do it, and he was going out and researching and finding out all these other things that he really had to know. And this is one of the most important things he felt that he learned from failing and finding out and doing research on it, before he tried it again, and it was really that time, and also that you build up your names before you start. You can't just, pull the switch and people are going to throw money at you. You have to have those names ready and who you're going to contact or whatever, because all these crowdfunding sites, it's a beat the clock game. You have 30 days, 45 days or whatever. And so you don't want to just, do your nice website or whatever and pull the switch and wait for the money to go in, and then when it doesn't, you have to get worried and start thinking of things to do. No, you think of all that stuff ahead of time and have it all ready to go, so then those dominoes start falling as soon as that time goes. Because usually what happens, I think, in life, nothing really works like you think it is or like you think it should be, particularly if you haven't done it before. And that's the fun of life. You don't know. It's the experience. So that's why, to me, the way to survive is that you do enough planning that you could even think of, as much planning, over planning as possible, so you have tricks up your sleeve. in case something doesn't happen. Because then if all those tricks up your sleeve don't work, then you can use that time to think of more tricks. But you can't start from, thinking of tricks the time the clock starts. You have to do it beforehand. So you have a lot of tricks. Just keep pulling. When it doesn't work, pull another one. Because, when things don't work, we want to, oh God, it hurts. When you fail, it hurts. And you have to lick your wounds, but you don't have time. And then you have to think of something else. So you have to already think of those other things you're going to do when these don't work. Okay, I'm going to try A. Oh, that didn't work. I'm going to try B when that doesn't work, or if it doesn't work. Because the worst can happen is that one of those worked fantastically, or the first one worked fantastically. And that doesn't matter. Because when it works fantastically, you know what to do. You get the money, you go to the bank. Get the money, go to the bank. Any idiot can do that. Any idiot to handle success. How are you going to handle failure? What are you going to do when it doesn't work? That's why you got to plan for failure. Don't plan for success. Don't plan that. Oh, I'm just going to flick this switch and all the money's going to, I better call my banker to warn him about all this money coming. That's a nice problem to have. Don't worry about it. Plan for failure. And that's how to succeed. So watch this interview. Well, Jake Ehrlich with BulletTrain.com, man, and you becoming a bullet train on Kickstarter and fundraising money. Man, it's just so amazing how you went on there like a year or so ago and failed, but because of who knows why. I mean, you know why, but and then you made it because you learned some tricks, didn't you, yes, about doing that? So what was the magic you could share with us about, you found out what's the best way to get on these crowdfunding sites?
Well, you mentioned the tips and tricks. We've learned over time that if you don't, this is our third Kickstarter campaign, and we learned a lot from the previous ones. And one of the things we learned was I was at a Kickstarter funding party where they had people like me, offering advice. Right. There was somebody there who said, on Kickstarter, if you don't launch on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, it would be a terrible decision.
10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday. Monday, and why is that? Why is that?
Because Monday everybody comes in and they're getting caught up on work week and getting ready, and they're in that work phase where by Tuesday morning they're bored and they're on Kickstarter. So they find it and they send it out to their friends. So 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is 1 p.m. Eastern Time, so it's just perfect to get that traction.
And then you have the whole week to the rest of the week. It's not Friday and they're off the Hamptons.
So if you launch on Thursday, and people are gone for the weekend, you don't get that critical traction. That's why we got funded in just over 4 hours. I think
4 hours. So you were going after what, $30,000 or something like that, or $15,000? What was the first time?
Well, in the second campaign, in this campaign, it was what is it, Alex? It's $12,000.
Well, that was and you raised that. So you made your goal in like 4 or 5 hours, and raising it. I mean, that must be like, oh, what a sigh of relief! It must be the greatest feeling in the world. To get over the finish line, in 5 hours, and you have a couple of weeks left. And actually, this thing that you're selling, the Safe Wallet, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, I have an iPhone myself, and so I have to carry a wallet, carry all this kind of stuff. And you're a professional designer a long time now, and you made something so unique that I could keep everything just almost like on the backside of my iPhone that nobody even notices it's there, huh?
Yeah, this is our iPhone 5 model, and when you close it, it's invisible.
Wow.
It doesn't, a lot of wallet phone manufacturers have wallet cases where the credit cards stick out the back, which we say is just an accident waiting to happen. Right. With the Safe Wallet, what you're doing is, it doesn't even look like an iPhone anymore, or an Apple product. It looks like it's, I don't know, some kind of like Motorola or something like that.
So I don't have to advertise that $1 trillion company anymore.
This is our new product that we have on Kickstarter. For the 6 Plus, and as you can see, it's crazy skinny. I mean, it's really, really, really skinny. But it also has offers a pen as well. So you have a ball.
You got a pen right in there, so I don't have to have a leaky pen in my pocket anymore.
Exactly, and then it also has the new secret stash that can.
Oh.
And it uses microsuction, so it can also hold bills or anything you want to put in here that'll fit.
Oh, that's great. So when I'm running, I can have, cab fare when I get tired at the end and don't want to run back. I can have, $100 in there to do anything for the afternoon.
Hopefully you're using Uber.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry cash. The biggest misconception about the Safe Wallet is people think that it's a wallet replacement, like I'm going to replace my wallet with it.
Yeah.
And the number one, the greatest value proposition of the Safe Wallet is it allows you to go cashless. Because cash, what's dumber than taking a $20 bill and buying a pack of Lifesavers or a pack of gum and getting back a 10, a 5, 4 singles, and a bunch of coins? Who wants to carry that around?
Right.
Nobody. So the idea is you keep a bill in your Safe Wallet for emergency purposes, and it's like a game, you try to never spend it. Now, that $100 bill you saw in my Safe Wallet, I've had for over 2 years unspent.
Wow, you're a cheap guy, that's why.
No, not at all. Not at all. I just, if I know I'm going to have to pay cash for something, if I go to a restaurant that only takes cash, which is very rare, I bring the cash separately and the change separately.
I see, right.
But in doing so, I'm not pack ratting and hoarding and carrying around a bunch of stuff that I don't need. And what's very common with people is they have wallets that look like a Big Mac. They're just filled with older receipts and other people's business cards and weird stuff. And most people can get by no problem with having a credit card, a Visa debit card, a driver's license, and maybe some business cards, and that's it. You don't need anything else.
And that's what your wallet does. I mean, and that's what I try to do. But I still have a wallet that's so big, but separately I keep, just a handful of business cards when I run into somebody. And so with yours, with the Safe Wallet, I could put that right in with my phone, and you don't even know it's bigger.
Well, yes, and the thing with the Safe Wallet is you literally can't overfill it. Which is, it's the same as this is a weird analogy, but I say it's like having your stomach stapled. If you have your stomach stapled, you literally can't gain weight. It's impossible. Right. So and people say, well, why don't you make one that's bigger? Because then you're going to be able to pack rat and hoard stuff, which the whole purpose of the Safe Wallet is to force yourself to be a true minimalist.
I see, right. So you take what is necessary. I mean, I got so much crap in my closet I don't need anymore, whatever. So it's the same. So this will force me to just take what's needed. I need 2 or 3 credit cards. I mean, my driver's license and a few business cards, and that's it. Yeah, and you're giving me a pen and the key place. You're giving me a key place.
Yeah. And you probably have a Costco card, right?
Right.
Okay. So the Costco card is a really good example. Most people, if they have a Costco card, they're carried around in their wallet. Right. But they spend maybe 4 days a year at Costco. So where's the place you keep the Costco card? In your glove compartment, because you drive there. Nobody walks to Costco. Right. You're not going to walk to Costco and carry back a bunch of stuff. So it's when you think about stuff like that, it really makes a lot of sense. When you really
and you're right, because most of the day, you see so many people, their phone is in their hands all the time, so you might as well have all the other important stuff right there, and you don't need bulging pockets or even a purse.
And if you lose your wallet, normally with a regular wallet, the likelihood of getting it back is very low. Right. If you were to lose, and we get asked this question all the time, if you were to lose your Safe Wallet, you can call it with Find My iPhone to figure out where it is.
Yeah. So that's right. So you can always find that. And an old guy like me, that happens more often than I hate to admit. But another thing you learned from your first 2 campaigns or whatever, that you really have to have a list or something. The people, you can't sort of start building your list once your campaign starts or anything like that.
Well, Kickstarter is far more popular today than it's ever been for obvious reasons. And the challenge is, in the early days of Kickstarter, like with the Pebble, for instance, there weren't that many campaigns going on simultaneously, so you were guaranteed exposure. But today, when you have thousands of campaigns going simultaneously, you get on there and they put you in silos 64,329 out left field, and nobody's going to discover you. So your success, I believe, to a large extent, is dependent on your social network. So having a bunch of people you can alert who are customers of yours, you can send an email alert out to and say, hey, we're launching now, and take advantage of this.
So you should do that work before you launch your Kickstarter campaign, so you're not doing it while you're launching a Kickstarter. But when we were talking earlier, you said how important the crowdfunding site was for you to get involved with your customers too.
Yeah. The power of the community is invaluable because it creates the ultimate feedback loop, which, as I also mentioned, isn't always very easy.
Somebody may not like you.
Yeah. I mean, you're like with the iPhone 5 version, we were struggling, like crazy, and had people haranguing us and stuff like that.
Like that guy on the phone now, huh? Right?
Exactly. But we had a lot of people haranguing us and driving us crazy. This time around, though, the big advantage is now that we have everything together, we think that we'll have an even better interaction.
Hey, that's another customer getting away again. But that's nice to have, because I mean, to me, I always knew I could do a book on anything. I just couldn't think of the title. What do people want? That's what we're trying to do, is help other people in our work, and it's hard to really understand what they want. You only find that out with free feedback, and I guess crowdfunding is the ultimate. Otherwise, you're going to some investor, who's going to put up money, and you got to sell that person. You don't know if he'll ever buy your stuff anyway.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it really is, if you think about a big company like Apple is really a feedback-driven company, but they're a community and people are talking. I mean, the least expensive the least expensive sales rep and the best sales rep are customers who love your product, who become brand ambassadors, and they're so passionate about it they want to get out there and show it to everybody and share it with them, and that's really what Kickstarter gives you. It gives you that community where you can get people really, really engaged. And we have a lot of people who love our products, and they're like our cheerleaders almost. And it's a great way to communicate them. And we do updates regularly on the project, and people have a sense of involvement because they understand what you're going through and the trials and tribulations. As I mentioned before, we had some challenges. And we had some great customers who really helped us out and offered great advice, which was actually invaluable. And today they're back on there. Yeah, so we're so engaged with Kickstarter that we're going to have all of our product launches on Kickstarter. And from what we can see now, it looks like we're going to be on Kickstarter permanently for the next year straight.
Wow, wonderful. Well, to keep up on all that you're doing, it's bullettrain.com.
Yes.
And you find Jake and all his products. And by the way, you have a kick-ass keyboard, to help people out too. That is really fantastic. Yeah. And you can find out that
keyboard platform.
Right.
So this keyboard. This is an Apple wireless keyboard and Apple's wireless Magic Trackpad.
Wonderful. They could find that there, and all your future products. But right now, it's to get in on the deal, on Kickstarter for the iPhone 6 case, you could go to bullettrain.com, and that will get you there too, right, Jake?
Yeah, and so with Kickstarter, we also offer the product at a discount over
that's what I mean.
So people save money. Which iPhone do you have?
I have a 5 now, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so we'll send you a safe wallet for your iPhone 5.
Wonderful.
We have a bunch of different colors. We have.
That's awfully nice. Any color will do, and it'll be nice to run with, because then I'll have my business cards and some money and my keys there and a pen to write. Because people stop me and they want to know stuff, and so it'd be nice to have that. Thank you so much, Jake. Pleasure to talk with you, and best of luck. And it's bullettrain.com.
Yes.
Take care.
Thank you.
Now, did you ever see that movie of the guy who invented the automatic windshield wiper blade or something like that? And it was a car accessory. It was a real inventor. And they made a movie out of his story, how, GM or one of the big manufacturers took his idea and, he lost a lot of money, and they make gazillions on it, And what's interesting now is not only that that's so hard to happen anymore nowadays, is that, see, before, if you had an idea, you had to go to a big company to get it done. Now you don't. You can do it yourself, you can protect it yourself, you sell it yourself, you can design it yourself, and do it without hardly any money at all. And the next interview is a fella, actually a bunch of guys, who figured out making streaming, video streaming, so you could watch Netflix and things like that, a lot easier, cheaper, faster, and all. Just by, it's technology that I don't know how to manipulate, certainly, and but they did. And they're not backed by any big companies or anything. They're doing it all themselves. And really what's happening now, I see, the cable companies, they're going out of business. Who watches cable anymore? No, you're watching on the internet. But it has to be streaming. So these big cable companies now are going to sell you. This is what they're talking about, in regulating. They want to charge some people more and some people less and things like that. And so it's not open roads kind of thing. And so what they've figured out, how to have fast streaming video without paying for a big tube. See, if you have a lot of video you want to share, read, or whatever, you're going to have to pay Comcast or one of these people a lot of money if you want to watch video without it stopping and starting, stopping and starting. Now they figured it out, where instead of streaming it through, they're finding all the other people. This is the way I understand it, that it's peer-to-peer. So they're streaming it and say 20 people are watching it. Okay, they're not going through one tube to get it to you. They're going to, all these other people have it too, so they're bringing little bits from all these other places. See, it's all done by the speed of light, so you don't know, we don't feel it, but it's getting to you faster because it's all not coming from one source. It's coming from maybe 50 sources, 100 sources or whatever to get you all the little bits so they don't break up, going getting to you so you can watch it free of any blips in your bips or whatever it is. But it's just exciting, I think, what's going on out there. These are young people without a lot of money to make this kind of technology happen for them, to make it easier and cheaper for the rest of us. And that's why I think we're going to have less gatekeepers in our world anymore. Fat cats controlling everything. They got maybe 90% of the income now, but it's really the technology and services and everything are going to be distributed more and cheaper for everybody else, and it's going to be a more equal sum society. And that's all because of technology. One person, look at Uber, look at Airbnb. Now the hotel business is crumbling a bit because everybody's renting their own rooms to people, So to me, to rent a room, I just put it on the internet and people come, and we do that to our apartment downtown, So if somebody wants to invest billions in a hotel, that's crazy anymore, because people are selling their own rooms cheaper than the hotel, and people are having more fun going to your own rooms. So here's one that figured out how to better, faster, cheaper of streaming video, and more videos on the internet now than ever before, and more going to be on next year than ever before, and it'll keep going like that. This is why I don't write books, I do video. So watch this. Well, Pierre-Louis Trion, and from France, but you're actually in Boston today because you also have a company here in the States and in France, and you're an engineer, and you have something terrific, the streamroot.io, which is the suffix for somewhere in some islands, isn't it? I-O? Instead of
it's UK, Ireland.
Right, so but it makes sense for you because you're in the in and out business, right? Because you're handling streaming. And now what you solved, you and your buddies, a bunch of fresh engineers out of the biggest engineering school in Paris, and you solve the streaming problems. When I'm there, I'm looking at a movie or something, and it stops. And then it goes again, and I miss something, and all that kind of stuff. So you created something new for everybody to use that are streaming videos now, haven't you?
Exactly. So you told it the buffering is just horrible. You're watching something and you have to wait in front of that, and you don't know what happened. So we developed Streamroot, which is some kind of new peer-to-peer video streaming technology. So we are providing a technology to broadcasters to help them to provide a much better streaming quality, and reduce a lot the cost for the bandwidth.
So if I was a big video, platform or something like that, and spreading video out around the company, a lot of people watching this stuff, so I could save a hell of a lot of money by using your stuff, right? Because everybody doesn't come to one server where there's a big tube coming out. That you figured out the technology of grabbing it from everybody on the network who's already using it and shuffling it around, and the user doesn't even know what the hell's going on, but it's cheaper, better.
Exactly, cheaper and better. Yeah. So you say that usually today all the users are downloading the same video from one server, and it's like it's not efficient at all. So what we are doing is that we are connecting the people who are watching the same streaming or the same video, so they can get the segments of the video directly from each other without asking the server and charging the server. So it can reduce the cost by up to 70% for the broadcasters, and for end users it's like a much better streaming quality without buffering, without latencies and everything.
So you're going to tick off the cable companies even more. Because the cable companies are charging bandwidth, and now they're not going to have programming anymore. They're just going to have bandwidth to sell, and you're going to figure out how to cheat them out of bandwidth.
Yeah. I mean, the cable company, most of the people just want to watch a video online and don't want to watch the old cable TV because they want to watch on the iPad, on their smartphone, on their computer. So people are just asking for bandwidth today, and not asking also for the old cable TV, because they know if they have the bandwidth, they can watch ESPN online, they can watch CNN online. So hey, we can help them.
But also, I mean, to me, what's interesting about this, I mean, it really is getting ahead of the curve on how we're providing information. Like me, I've written 100 books, but the last 3, 4, 5 years, I haven't written a book at all. It's all been, and I don't have to write, I just do video, so I have thousands and thousands of hours of video, and that's how I'm communicating nowadays instead of books. So you're there making all that, easier for the rest of everybody to use.
Video is literally exploding over the internet. Today, according to Cisco, it's like 60% of the whole internet traffic is video.
Wow, 60% of all internet traffic is video.
Video.
Wow.
And it's going to increase in the next couple of years. Like some projections says that it's going to be like 80, 90% of the traffic. And the networks can't handle that.
Right. Well, that's wonderful, because now I don't have to know how to spell. That was my biggest problem with writing. Even with spell check. And I could never write like this, like I talk. So that's wonderful. 60%. Oh, that's right. Now, the three of you, I mean, you're electrical engineers or IT engineers? What kind of engineering?
So we have different backgrounds. Most of the team has a computer science engineer background, and I have more business-oriented or engineering background. So we created a company more than 18 months ago. Launched the company and the product in France. Then last August we moved to Boston to be part of the Techstars accelerating program, which is one of the best accelerating program in the US. So we moved there. It was a great experience, and now we decided that we're gonna stay around because the US market is like really cool. And
so you started in France, and they have a startup community. So you got assistance from the startup community in France. You came here, found help to get assistance here, and now you'll be global and giving your assistance back everywhere, huh?
Yeah, the internet is like magic for that. You can be wherever you want in the world, and you can sell in China, in South America, because it's just.
But it's still even creating your business. I mean, you've already used 2 countries to help create your business. So that's wonderful. Well, you're a delight, Pierre, and thank you so much. And everybody should at least find out about it. If you don't have a big video platform, it doesn't matter, because you got to know about this stuff, because it's here already and you're going to be using it more. It's streamroot.com. like in rooting a tree, .io, not .com, so streamroot.io, and watch the magic happen, right? Because you're making it happen, and it's wonderful to see, ideas come from everywhere and make living easier and provide services that make the rest of our life a lot easier too.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Pierre. Take care. Talk to you soon.
It was a pleasure.
My pleasure. Well, do you ever sit around thinking, gosh, you know what I think I'll do? I think I'll go on the internet and get $80,000, just to have money for the year to do what I really want to do this year, instead of making, that lousy job I have to go to every day or something like that, or fighting traffic. No, I want to sit at home and just work on the stuff that I really want to, have nobody bother me. But boy, I gotta live, So I think I'll just go on the internet and get $80,000. That should be enough to live. Would that be enough for you to live? Yeah. Well, this is what this next guy did. I couldn't believe it. I ran into him and actually went on a crowdfunding site, Kickstarter, $80,000. He likes developing games, and so he had a little sample game that he invested some money in himself to do and things like that, and it was pretty successful. He gave it away for free, and so what happened is that he went on the internet. I said, I want to do this at home all the time, and I need $80,000 to do it. I'll give out free games. And they said, hey, that's a good idea. And people start giving them money. Yeah. They got nothing back for him except keeping that guy busy, to do that. Now, isn't that wonderful? I mean, how often does your boss put your arm around you, and say, hey, I think you're doing a great job, No, look at it. He got over like 1,000, 1,500 people that gave him money so he could stay home all year just to do the stuff that he really wants to do. Man, talk about the power of the internet, It's a whole new world. I mean, imagine telling my parents, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do." I wouldn't have believed it until a year or so ago. That you could do this. That's how things are changing so quickly that people are pulling the rug out of everything, and there's just new ways of doing things. So get inspired. See how this guy carved out a life of doing what he really wanted to do. He had no money himself, but he got it on the internet. Well, Henry Smith of SleepingBeastGames.com, and you're the only person I met who found out how to go on the internet and have people give you money for nothing. They're not getting anything except you. And Frieza, I have to steal this idea from you and do it. But you went on crowdfunding and you're using it like a French painter or something, and having people be your patron, but you have thousands of people being your patron to develop cool games. I mean, these games look terrific. What made you think of this?
Well, I had already made a game for free, some savings that I had, and the response was pretty overwhelming. I never expected it to be as well received and as popular as it got. This game was called Space Team, in case you've heard of it, and so it made me think that I want to keep doing this. I want to keep making games, but deciding how much to charge for them or which pieces to separate off and offer some things for free and other things for money. That's not the stuff I wanted to care about, and I just wanted to make games and be sustainable. So I decided to reach out to people and see if they wanted to keep seeing new games from me. If they liked Space Team, I'd like to keep making more games, similar games, and so could they help me? Because I still need to pay my bills.
Details.
I want to keep making games for free. I want to keep releasing games for free so that they're accessible to everybody. And so I tried this as an experiment, because I mean there are a lot of other successes on Kickstarter. They've always been focused on projects.
Yeah.
I wanted to try something that was about focusing on a creator, a developer, instead of a project. And so all the games that come out of the campaign are going to be free for everybody, not just
Just
not
for
just
the
the
people.
backers.
So in other words, people are using you, or you are like a national treasure. People, you have thousands and thousands of people now giving you money, so you don't go away and keep making your games for everybody. So you have 2,000 people believe you're a national treasure, not just you.
That's, one way of looking at it. No, I think it's just people who like what I've done before and want to see more things from me. So it's kind of like a fan club or a membership club.
Yeah.
That's how I positioned it. So yeah, in fact, some of the rewards for the supporters are special membership cards or patches or a special certificate that says that you're a member of the club. And so yeah, they're not games directly, but they will also get games as well, just like everyone else. So yeah, it's so I wouldn't go as far as national treasure, but
but why not? I mean, it's sort of like as a community, we're really not. It's selfish in a way because we want to keep you doing this because we appreciate it so much. But it's not for just you. It's not buying a gift just for you. You're buying it for everybody too. Right. Yeah. And so you're contributing to you, so you're there for everybody to help them have better lives with your work, you know. So that's why, so everyone's thinking bigger than themselves, you know.
I hope so. I hope that's what people are thinking because, I wanted, I was hoping that some people would think, well, why would I pay for this?
I'll just wait till the guy fails and keep doing it.
Yeah, there's a real chance that if I don't get the support, then I won't be able to afford to make the games, and so nobody will get them. And so yeah, it absolutely is. Like a few people need to be, I guess, generous enough to realize that the money they're contributing is going to help. It's going to help everybody.
Exactly. I mean, like, I'm contributing to the school system. I don't have kids in school, right? But
it's definitely a sort of a more social kind of program, kind of funding model.
But you using it, I mean, but that's capitalism in a way, a new form of capitalism, I guess, because you're exchanging money. Maybe it's called different something else, I don't know. But to me, what's so clever and unique about you is that you figured out how to use capitalism, but with a socialist tint in some way.
That's great. I mean, I'd love to see more like funding for like arts and creative pursuits, and I think everyone benefits from that. Not just the. I mean, obviously the people who get to receive and enjoy the art or the creations, but also the creators themselves. Even if the art isn't popular for everyone, isn't like hugely successful, the act of creation I think is very important for people, and I think it can be cathartic, it can be joyful, all sorts of things that creating art can like people use it in therapy, right? So
right. Oh, absolutely. Art therapy, everything. Well, I mean, this is what my understanding of what's going on in China now. They don't feel they're creative. They learned how to learn physics, you know, in 16 lessons or whatever, and the whole country now knows physics, but they can't create anything. So they're trying to steal from us how to be creative now.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of creative people there as well. But
Ai Weiwei is one of them.
But yeah, no, I think that being creative just in general is very valuable, and so I think that it's an important thing to have, and I think more people need the opportunity to do it. Yeah.
So in other words, if we encourage more people like this to be creative, then, I mean, to me, creativity is really getting all the problems we have. I mean, we have to be creative in solving problems, not only creating art, but, and I think that instigates the rest of us to think differently, and that's why I go to see art, how I could shake my head, give myself a kick in the head, and that's what you do. But I mean, this is a wonderful model. I mean, and now I think we're in a society that's changing all the models. Before, you used to have to go to a game manufacturer and be told what to write. You're right. And what they think, some guy with a fat guy with a cigar thinks is sellable, and then you got to do it, and that's not art.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a place for both things. A place for commercial art as well, but for truly independent art, where you don't have to make compromises based on what you think will sell to the mass market. Yeah, I think there's so much more innovation and diversity that can come out of that, and voices that wouldn't have been heard otherwise, and you can tell messages that may be controversial or unpopular, but still need to be told. And so, I think that having no restrictions like this is incredibly powerful.
But you found a way to use capitalism, which crowdfunding is a form of capitalism now, to satisfy your heart and your soul and to grow as much as you can. And it's a new way, because the other way of capitalism, you were an organization, you couldn't grow as much and as fast as you can. But now you've done it. So that's what I mean. You're paving a way for the rest of us to grow.
I hope that some people can learn some lessons from it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm certainly not the first person to come up with this idea. And we were talking about Patreon earlier,
right? Exactly.
Which is definitely a very similar, have some very similar goals, and I love what they're doing there. But yeah, I thought that it was I needed to start something new to put this out there and at least start a discussion about this kind of thing, because it's not usually how Kickstarter works, and I wanted to try this as an experiment to see if it was possible. So yeah, I think and it did generate some discussion. I mean, I haven't seen other people doing the same thing so far, but I think that it certainly got people talking, and people have been referring to it as something that worked, and it's a new idea. So
absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're here in an art in doing games and an art on figuring out how to get money too.
It's a perfect situation for me.
Absolutely, it's wonderful. So keep on being clever enough to stay in and work on the way, because so you're working on something that you could really be passionate about, because no one's telling you what to do. I mean, that's my theory anyway. And so we go to sleepingbeastgames.com to way to be a patron, right?
It's too late to be a patron on the Space Team Admirals Club, which is my Kickstarter, but I am going to open membership again soon. So yeah, you go to sleepingbeastgames.com, you'll be able to find my game and find out to support me.
But you see the games anyway, the free ones, right? The free ones are there. So go see the free games at least at sleepingbeastgames.com. Thank you so much, Henry. A pleasure to be with you, and
thank you.
Don't stop.
Bye.
Well, I think a lot more people would be writing books nowadays if they knew how easy it was. Actually, a lot easier than it was in my day, back in my day. Well, I was writing books I started about 30 years ago or more. And it was like traditionally had these big fat cats in New York, that controlled everything. And you had to go with your hat in your hand and beg to these people, about, publish my book, please, and all that kind of, and get an agent and understand the system. Now that's all gone. All the fat cats are out of the market. They're dwindling. Now, how many bookstores? All those big bookstores are gone, right? Because it's all on the internet now, and you get money on the internet for a writer. And there's so many ways to get it. Man, I've interviewed a dozen, maybe 24 people who use like regular crowdfunding sources. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, things like that. Those they get $10,000, $5,000, $50,000, $100,000 or more. To write a book before it's written. That's what's so neat. You don't even have to have a book yet. Then what's also neat nowadays, there's like boutique little websites for crowdfunding just for writers. And there's two major ones that I know of: Incubate, INKUBATE, .com, and the other one is PubSlush, PubSlush.com. And these smaller sites, see what they'll hold your hand. And these people, both of them, are really for the writing community. Publishers, authors, agents, marketing people, everything. And they'll actually hold your hand through the whole process. These big other general crowdfunding sites like Indiegogo, and Kickstarter, they have hundreds of books, that are sold on their sites. But you don't get anybody hand-holding. They also sell helicopters and all kinds of other stuff there. But these sites that are just for writers, check them out, because that's how to really find out in the beginning, until you know enough about the industry and you don't need anybody, and you just need their platform to do it. But in the beginning, you need help. You need to understand all this stuff, because you're not really sure. And see, what's neat about it, no matter what you do, it doesn't cost anything. You know, unless you're making money off the site, then that's where they take a piece of the money, and that's all it costs. So it's no upfront cost. So you start learning. If you're an author, you know, start learning. And there's other ways. Actually, I have an interview here by name Jim Kukral, Jim Kukral, and he wrote a book called "No Publisher Needed." You know, and you can see his interview. We have it on YouTube here. No Publisher Needed. And if you go nopublisherneeded.com, you'll see about him and the book and whatever. And he raised $35,000 himself on the internet, not even to use a crowdfunding site, himself, to get this book before it's written. See, this is money you get before you write anything. That's what's so neat about this stuff. And actually, we have the Incubate people and the Pub/Slush people. We have videos of them on YouTube too. So if you go to youtube.com/Matthew Lesko 70. Now, another way to get information out nowadays is through writing an app. You know, that's another way. I mean, in books, and now, you know, people don't get information out only in books anymore. They're using apps, they're using videos. Well, apps are, I think, bigger than books. I mean, right now, listen to this. You know, the Apple people in iTunes, they sold $500 million, $500 million worth of apps in 1 week. The first week of January, they sold $500 million in apps. Man, $500 million. That's like a line item on the budget. Yeah, the government. Yeah, $500 million in apps. That's how this thing. And last year, I think they did something like $10 billion in apps. In 1 year, 10 billion, not million, billion. Yeah. And see, most all that money is going to the people who wrote it. Not the middleman and stuff like that. Sure, Apple takes a little cut or whatever, but not like the publishers when you're getting 1%, yeah, or 7% or something like that. No, you're getting the majority of the money. Yeah, and that's what's neat about the new technology. And anybody could do it. You know, you figure out, put the app on. Now, we have an interview here of a fellow who's writing app. He tells you, I see there's platforms now, you know, where people want to write apps. You talk about your app you want to do, and then people kick in money for you to do the app. Then you put it on iTunes, you make all the money, and they get some of the money too. And so take a look at that. You know, I mean, it's amazing what's out there. Think about, you know, apps. That's another way to do it. You know, or you could write yourself. I mean, gee, you go out and start writing. You could go to something called WordPress.com. That's how to start your own blog, start your own website for no money at all. You got a website there, and you start blogging. You start writing about whether it's the history of your family or what you think about the Grand Canyon or anything, and start practicing on what it does, you know, and see it. And it costs you nothing. That's what's so neat about all this stuff. It costs you nothing. Yeah, so anybody could be a writer. You don't need a fat cat, you know, accountant or a lawyer or agent, or you don't need, you know, a publisher or some fat cat gatekeeper or whatever. You don't have to be in bookstores. They're going out of business. People are buying more on the web, so you could figure that out yourself. That's what I know. Now here's a video of an interview with the Pub/Slush people, and they cover the whole market too of publishing. And just watching her in the interview, you'll learn about what it is nowadays, you know, to be a writer and everything. And that's why people are out there to teach you for free. So take advantage of it. Well, Amanda Barbara, as an author of over 100 books, and actually only 10 have made any money, I just appreciate so much what you do. I mean, this website you have for potential authors is going to put the New York publishing establishment out of business, thank God. So how can we use you?
Thank you so much, Matt, for introducing me. We can use me. Let's see. Well, first I'll introduce the company. We are Pub/Slush, Pubslush, pubslush.com.
Why slush? Why? Where is it?
The name came from the slush pile, which a lot of authors find themselves in. First-time authors, second-time authors. Yes. They have works that end up in slush piles for days, months, years, 20 years.
You're lucky to make the pile.
Yeah, well, this is a way that enables authors to get their books out of the slush pile and actually be able to be read by the people that mean the most, which are the readers. Pub/Slush is a crowdfunding site only for books. It's a way for authors to be able to raise funds for their book ideas and be able to mitigate their own financial risk. So many authors go into self-publishing nowadays, and they lay out all the money out of their own pocket, and they're not really sure whether or not their book is going to sell. They're not sure who's going to buy it, where they should put it, who they should be consulting with for some of their services. So we provide not only a platform for crowdfunding, but we also provide market analytics for a book, meaning that if they're able to get 100, 200, 1,000 people to support them, we break down those supporters and let them know who their audience is, which is a huge thing for authors. They need to know who their audience is, because that will help them market their book most effectively. What also makes us a little bit different than a lot of the other crowdfunding sites out there is that we not only offer the platform to raise funds, but because we are only books and we're specifically for authors and for readers, we know the industry very well. So we're able to help authors guide them through this publishing process that isn't so cut and dry. It's not so A to B.
If I have an idea for a book, I could go to Kickstarter, one of these other things, and put my idea on and try to raise money, but then I'm stuck, right? What do I do then? So I come to you, and you help me raise money. It doesn't cost anything, right, for an author? Put your idea there, and you help me market that idea to see how much money we get. Once I get all that money to start writing my book, you help me analyze that stuff.
Absolutely.
How about publishing the book then at the end?
We also operate an imprint called Pub/Press. We can acquire books from our platform. That is not our main business.
Right.
It's something that we are really passionate about doing. Especially and growing that side of our business. But right now, our main focus is this crowdfunding platform and really getting the authors to be able to raise funds.
So if I'm successful crowdfunding, there's an option of maybe being published by you guys, or will you help me find a way to print it and figure out all the hocus pocus too?
Yes, absolutely. We are working right now with several different partners within the industry that will be able to provide our authors, Pub/authors, with discounts, with connections, with people, with representatives that we've made in these companies that will really give them a more personalized experience. And we find that authors, especially the first-time authors, they can go to any crowdfunding site to raise funds, but the problem is they get this money and they don't know what to do next.
Right. How do I get on Amazon? How do I get on the ebooks?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're here to help them not only take that next step, the post campaign step that might be a struggle for some people.
How about marketing? Do you help with that?
We, while they're on Pub/, we will market them via our social media outlets. We'll tweet about them. If they come to us, we would write a blog post about their book. We're really there our doors are open with ideas, and we're able to help them in any way we can. We've also just recently launched an extension to our platform called Pub/Pro. Pub/Pro is where publishers are able to create pages on Pub/ and be able to crowdfund for books that they've already decided to publish. So
wait a minute. So a publisher that I wasn't going to go to could come to you
and crowdfund for a book. Well,
really?
It's not that an author doesn't want to go to a publisher. It's that the publisher gets hundreds of thousands of manuscripts to read all the time, and they don't they don't really have the time to really sift through and pick out the best content. So this is a way for them to, one, crowdfund for books they've already decided they like and believe in and want to publish. But two, they can also use Pub/ to help navigate and find a book. If a book's on Pub/ and it's raised $50,000, that's a huge amount of money.
So there, publishers can use you for finding books. If, say, some new author comes to you and they raise 20 grand or something for their idea and they've never been in the publishing industry, a publisher could come to you and see that title and make a deal with that author already?
Absolutely. We see the future, and our long-term goal is this is a place where readers will be able to have a voice in the publishing process, and readers will be able to decide what content they want to read. Most authors nowadays are self-published before they get traditional publishing deals.
So I could put it on your site and actually be looked at by major publishers too, and agents too. I mean, these sharks in the middle.
Yes, this program is also open to agents. We've also launched a partner program called Pub/Custom, where different literary organizations, literary workshops, anyone that works with authors, they also have the opportunity to crowdfund their projects as well with us through our partner pages.
So you're really not only a crowdfunding. I mean, see, that's even more important, because if I have an idea, I really don't have sometimes the resources to get the idea out. So some bigger person, like a publisher or an agent, is looking for good ideas that they could bang the hell out of, right? And you're a source for that too. So it behooves me even twice as much to get on your site, not only for raising money, but for letting the industry know about this hot topic.
Yeah, we definitely believe that, in long term with PubSlush, that we'll be more of a community. So it won't be just a one-stop shop. It won't just be the crowdfunding element. It'll be the crowdfunding side, and then you'll be able to check out what books are coming out. We're also introducing a new feature to the site that will be live within the next couple of weeks called a buy button, which means that not only are you crowdfunding between 30 and 60 days, but after you are successful, we will switch over your campaign button. So instead of saying, the button now says support now, instead of saying support now, it'll now say buy now.
Right. Or buy for later.
No, you'll actually be able to, once the campaign's over and the book is available via Amazon or Barnes & Noble.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Some supporters and readers, they might not be so keen to giving the money to an author that they don't know in advance. Right. But they might really love the topic. So they might come back to PubSlush and say, I really liked this idea. Oh, and now it's actually available for sale, so I'll buy it now.
So in other words, once you're on PubSlush to raise money to start, you could stay there as a distribution outlet forever, huh?
We really see it as a free marketing tool for the author and also for the publisher. I mean, not only is the publisher going to be able to crowdfund for their books, but some people might really enjoy books that a specific publisher comes out with.
But more importantly, I also see that you offer a better deal than these other crowdfunding people too, don't you?
Well, yes, we do offer the lowest rate in the industry. So we only take 4%, and we only take that once the author is successful. So if the
other guys take 7 or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit higher. But the other great thing with us, which we haven't mentioned yet, which I don't know if you're aware of, Matthew, is that we also offer flex funding. Yeah. Which that means for all of you authors out there,
you get any money.
It means that we let you set a minimum and a maximum goal. So with that being said, you get to say, okay, if I make a minimum of, let's say, $500, I can still use that $500 towards my editing process. So as long as you make your minimum goal, you get to keep anything after that. So say your maximum goal is, $50,000. That's a huge goal, and it's very, very hard to accomplish. And we don't want authors to work so hard for 30 to 60 days, and then at the last, 5 days they stress because if they don't make their goal, they lose everything. Exactly. That's a lot of stress. On top of publishing a book. Right.
And that's what the other sites do. I mean, if you don't make your minimum, you don't get anything, and nobody does. And but here you have a minimum, so if you put a low figure on it, then you could get something maybe out of this deal.
Well, and the publishing process is a little bit different than a lot of the other types of projects.
A gadget or whatever.
Exactly. If it's a gadget, for example, if you don't make that X amount of dollars, it's physically impossible to create it. Right. With publishing, every little bit helps towards mitigating your own financial risk and really helping you not have to take everything out of your own pocket.
Well, the best thing I like about you and this site is your nail polish matches my jacket. So thank you so much, Amanda. I think it's a terrific idea and a way for everybody out there who has a potential book idea, as an ebook, regular book, any kind of book, that it's a way to vent this idea and to see if the market's ready for it without going to these fat canned people in the middle who really don't know what the hell they're doing anyway.
Absolutely.
Well, power to the authors.
The authors are going to have way more power in their hands moving forward. So it's a great time to be an author and great time to start writing that book you've been dreaming about writing. So get on it.
Right. Pubflush.com, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew, for having us.